please.
Thank you, Chairperson Ami Upadhyay ji, and the panelists and the guest here. This is my 13th talk in the last 10 days. And as Ami Upadhyay ji propagated Gujarati food, when I went to Calcutta, I had Maj Bhat, delicious. When I went to Hyderabad, I had, biryani. And when I went to Mumbai, I had Bhaupara. All had particular tastes. But I've been here in Gujarat for 3 days. Each time you eat, in every food there is sweet. It is sour, sweet here. Huh? Dal, sweet. I just don't understand. Either it has to be sour or salty or sweet. Gujarati sab mix kiya hua hai. So I'm waiting for your dinner, which will be very unique and delicious. And I can say, I went to Gujarat and had Gujarati food that tastes like this. If I were to go and say everything is in it, people won't understand. What is the taste,
Yes,
the flavor?
Yeah, people in Gujarat also, they're very sweet.
Yes.
Yes. And today evening you will have Gujarati Kathiawadi food.
Acha, so you will make us all sweet and go around talking something sweet. But, I've been a politician, I've been academic, I've been an activist, and I'm not a businessman, but recently I'm trying to invest in some stocks, but only gaining few dollars, not $1 billion, okay? But I'm always invited because I'm a friend of India Foundation, Ram Madhav, Alok ji, and all. I'm kind of, I'm always invited to kind of provoke a little bit. Dhamma conference थोड़ा धमाका के लिए मेरे को बुलाता है. So let me be थोड़ा धमाका. This morning we talk about karma. What you sow, you reap. जो आप करेंगे उसका फल. So if that is the case, then how come the world is moving towards wrong direction? So many wrongs being happening in this world. They should be facing their karma and, decreasing all the negative karma. There are 90 wars, 72 countries involved. There are more non-democratic countries than democratic countries. How come in the last 30 years, more countries are becoming non-democratic? Climate change, water crisis, global warming. How come everything is going towards wrong direction when we have a notion of karma? You do something bad, you are penalized, and then you correct yourself. There's no self-correction. And in 20 years ago, we had 35 million refugees. Now we have 137 million refugees. बढ़ते जा रहा है. कर्मा कहाँ है? शायद भगवान. Yes? अब इंडिया में तो इतना भगवान है. 2 crores भगवान. India has most भगवान है कि नहीं? Traffic jam लगा हुआ है. तो फिर another issue is again this morning raised. 21st century will be a century of Asia, and India wants to be number 1 with all the भगवान here. With all the sannyas here, India should be number 1. कब से? क्यों नहीं? इकोनॉमी में नहीं है. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में भी गुजरात में अच्छा है. मैं बहुत ट्रैफिक जैम है. अभी देखने के लिए स्पिरिचुअली होगा, अंदर होगा, बाहर नहीं है कि नहीं? तो now we have to ask ourselves, how can we make India great? If I borrow, I don't want to borrow, I'm from America, huh? Oh, wala, nahi. India number 1. But we've been always saying this. In the last 75 years, India is, sub 75 years ka, Swatantra ke baad, India number 1. But don't say 75 years. When you listen to it, India and 75 years, it sounds India so young, so immature. Abhi naya paida hua hai. But we have to go back to history when India was number 1 economically. 27% of India's of the world was in India. 1 saal ke liye, 10 saal ke liye, 4,000 years. We have to revive and read and study that period. Kab hua tha? Ashoka the Great. This morning, our friend said, Ashoka used violence to conquer India, but used non-violence Buddhism to make India number 1 in the world. Ek sapling. Can you imagine 1 seed from Bodh Gaya to Sri Lanka? Buddhist ho gaya. 2 scholars to Thailand, Buddhist हो गया. और Chinese का monk Hun Sen came all the way to India to seek knowledge. People from all over the world came to India to seek knowledge because we had Nalanda. अब नालंदा कहाँ है? नालंदा का वाइस चांसलर यहाँ है. नया अच्छा under her leadership it has grown. नया building, नया students अभी शुरू हो रहा है. Because we forgot what we did 1,000 years ago. How come? When you forget that period and you say, I want to be number one, you were number one. We have to revive that period. What was that period? Buddhist era, the peaceful era, harmony between Buddhism and Hinduism. 2.1 billion, the largest number in the world. That's how you do it. But you're losing. I must say, I say it with prem. China, for example, is ahead in Buddhist infrastructure, ahead in Buddhist diplomacy. Yeah, World Buddhist Congress, the oldest one, has all the Buddhists represented from around the world are organized in China every alternate years. All the Buddhist leaders, they go to China, they praise China. Now China says it's a communist party. We don't believe in religion. In fact, Buddha statue is destroyed nowadays. You know, churches are also, we know that. Kal, I don't want to mention name, kal hamara keynote speaker said, धर्म और अधर्म को छोड़ दो, जो टिकता है वो धर्म है, जो नहीं टिकता है अधर्म है. अब क्या टिक रहा है? अधर्म टिक रहा है. Destruction of monasteries, है कि नहीं? Censorship, control. So this is the reality. And where do you go from there? So if you want to be number one, you must invest. Not enough. You have, 6 years in new infrastructure. You must expand Nalanda. You must use Buddhist diplomacy. As our guest from Thailand said, one relic from India was taken to Thailand. One relic attracted 5 million people because this is India. I've been saying this for many years. India, Buddhism is a low-hanging fruit. Aapko thoda sa, you just have to move a bit. For example, China or any other country, if they want to invite Buddhist leaders, they have to send limousine, business class ticket, red carpet, best hotel, best food. Then they will say, you're good. From India, you just need to send one email. Bodh Gaya, do you want to come to Bodh Gaya? Every Buddhist leader will run here. Why can't we get our act together? है कि नहीं? You just have to have simple investment. Now, वो Buddhist circle के बात चलता है. I've been to Patna to Bodh Gaya. My goodness, the road is back-breaking. If there is a highway, it will take maybe 1 hour. Without highway, it takes 4 hours and your back is broken. You forget going to Mahabodhi temple that evening. You need rest, then only you can go next morning. Why can't we do that? Now, if you go to China, infrastructure, the 4 lanes highway leading to all the Buddhist places, and that's why Buddhist leaders are saying China is leader in Buddhism. वो अधर्म है, वो धर्म मानते ही नहीं है, धर्म पाप है, धर्म पॉइजन है कहते हैं. तो हमें कुछ करना पड़ता है. इसलिए my friend also Tugutinse Delhi Rinpoche mentioned about Dalai Lama ji. Now reincarnation, concept of reincarnation, spiritually explained very eloquently. But in practical sense, what it is a relationship between Chela and Guru. All the followers, they like their Guru. And they pray and worship and say, Guru, we like you, please come back again. Then the karma kicks in. Then the reincarnation comes back. Now Tibetans, in the last 40 years, Buddhists from the Himalayan region, and from Mongolia, Russia, all are saying, Hamara Parampavan Dalai Lama ji, you are our Guru. We want you to come back. And this July, he blessed us with a news saying, I will come back. This is a very big news. And he also says he is a proud son of India. Kyunki his wisdom is from Nalanda. His body is made up of dal and roti of India. Now he wants to come back. Is this a good news? Yes or no? But चीन सरकार कह रहा है, नहीं, हम डिसाइड करेंगे, हम चुनेंगे धर्म, अधर्म देश है, अधर्म सोच है, धर्म गुरु हम चुनेंगे, हम पकड़ेंगे. Why? Because they know reincarnation of Dalai Lama has major influence in the Himalayan region. अगर चीन का चुना हुआ दलाई लामा जी ने कहा कि हिमालयन रीजन अब चीन की तरफ देखो, भारत की तरफ नहीं, तो क्या हो सकता है कि नहीं? तो ये हो रहा है. दूसरा कंडीशन ये है, selection process, how does selection process? As again, His Holiness the Dalai Lama appoints a regent. I authorize you, or some of the monks, 3 monks or 4 monks, I authorize you to search and find the next Dalai Lama. The authorization is that's the spiritual connection between Guru and the followers. And these people go search the next Dalai Lama. And then there will be enthronement. अब चीन सरकार को कोई नहीं कह रहा है, सब कह रहे हैं कि don't interfere. आपका मतलब ही नहीं, आप धर्म है, आप धर्म को पाप मानते हो, don't interfere. वो कहते हैं हम कहूँगा कि they are more interested in the office, not in the reincarnation. They are less interested in religion or spirituality, but in power politics. ये धर्म और अधर्म का रेस है. अब धर्म को टिकना है, तो whatever His Holiness Dalai Lama said should prevail. ये हमारा गुरु है. If you think हाँ ये तो far off है, नहीं. शिंजांग में इमाम को चूज कर रहा है, वेटिकन के साथ मिलके बिशॉप को चूज कर रहा है, और वेटिकन मान रहा है. अब लामा को चूज करने के लिए आ रहा है. नेक्स्ट डे से शंकराचार्य को चूज करूंगा. अब ये सोचते हैं आप, ये तो नामुमकिन है. नहीं नहीं, मुमकिन है. क्योंकि ये कहेंगे यू वांट टू विजिट चाइना, और शंकराचार्य यू स्पीक गुड अबाउट अस, कम. अदर शंकराचार्य यू स्पीक बैड अबाउट अस, डोंट कम. Till you make your correction, I won't invite you. Though everybody starts self-censoring themselves. Then they change. For example, those who are born and brought up in Arunachal Pradesh, they don't need visa to go to China. Why? China says Arunachal Pradesh is part of China. You're coming home, you don't need visa. जाते हैं. This is how they manipulate the system. So, again, His Holiness Dalai Lama said, we are not anti-China. We want China to be prosperous, but also we want China to be part of the civilization. If Asia has to be number one, we need civilizational changes in the whole of Asia. Those era, for 1,000 years when India was the largest economy, those era of Ashoka, when there was a peace in Asia, when there was harmony in Asia, on the principle of dharma and dhamma. That's what we want. We don't want aggression, border dispute, Galwan, Doklam, nahi. नेपाल में इंटरफियर करो, बांग्लादेश में इंटरफियर करो, श्रीलंका में इंटरफियर, मालदीव नहीं. Let us live peacefully with each other on the basis of dharma and dharam. You should accept karma. So we all need to be a little more bold and say karma ko. Sometimes it's not enough you talk. You have to remind, you have to force. And I hope that they will come, there will be civilizational changes in Asia on the basis of dharma and dharam. Then we can say, yes, karma hai, or shanti hai. That's what Ashoka wanted, that's what Gandhiji wanted, that's what His Holiness Dalai Lama wants. And that will make Asia not great again. 21st century, this century of Asia. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. As you promised, it was really political, spiritual, futuristic speech related to Buddhism. And started with democracy and non-democracy. And somewhere in India also we find democracy in the sense of dharma and spiritualism, that there are crores of goddesses, because everybody has a right to choose their own god and goddess. That's what democracy is all about. And that's why be it Dvaita, Advaita, Visishta Advaita, all the paths are open for anybody who chooses the one. Yes, now the session is open for question answer. Yes, please. I would request, please, Divyaji. Kindly introduce yourself briefly, and the question is addressed to whom. Let us know that too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I am Dr. L.K. Jha from Nalanda Mahavihar, and this is not something like question, this is some addendum to the speech of Sri Lobsang Sangay. I think there is only difference between G and J. If J would have been there, then so many things would have been very clear. But but here it is G. Whatever it is, sir, just I want to remind you about two aspects. Few years back, China started a center called Gurpa. I think near 25 years, China marketed it well, but slowly it came to the fore, and now Gurupad, in fact it is Gurupad about the Mahakasyap. And so Gurupa is now in Bihar, and tourists are and the educationists are coming to Gurupa. Second, I want to say, opening of Nalanda University, we do not understand, sir, one university has been started in 2010, and in which university I am teaching, that university was started in 1951. So I have nothing to say on this one. I just want to say China has again started a Nalanda University 8 years before. But during these past 8 years, now slowly truth is coming out, and people have started realizing that China has started fake Nalanda University. That it is true that Chinese government has donated a lot to the new Nalanda University. In the same way, there were so many things regarding
Sir,
Silk
I
Route
request you to
and
be a
other
little
thing.
brief so that
Yeah,
others
yeah,
can
yeah.
also get opportunity
So
to
I
ask questions.
think in democracy, what we do in autocracy in 10 years, in democracy like like in India, it takes near about 50 years. So it takes so much time, but slowly I think we are moving toward truth, and one day truth will come, sir, to the fore.
Yeah.
And as far as your back pain going to the Bodh Gaya, now Indian government has constructed a very highway from Patna. If you go within 3 hours, you can reach there, sir. Recently, it is these developments are recently.
Yeah.
So we are thankful, and you are very right that we are not going. We Indians are very great champion in forgetting, sir, in so many things. Besides all these things, democracy is going on, and we
Yeah.
are developing.
Thank you. Yeah,
sir.
I'll answer
Thank
your
you.
question. Yes, I agree with you. Now, it's good that it takes 3 hours from Patna to Gaya. But
Yeah.
actually, it should be taking less than 1 hour.
Yeah.
There's a high-speed train from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. All the highways I saw, why can't we have the same thing? I traveled there too, Nalanda University is built, now it's true. Maybe, it has taken upper hand over China's Nalanda, or Gurukul also. But till India acts, you will be behind. So that's my point. And then you're right. India is, a symbol of India is hathi, elephant. Slow walking, but still the most powerful animal in jungle. Huh? Now it has to speed up a bit, thoda. AI hona chahiye. China is dragon. But if you have every metrics and measurement, China's GDP per capita income is $10,000 per person. India is 2,500, So there are lot of ways to measure it. And I hope, I wish, I've been saying this for many times, we have to get our act together. And Ashoka also, the greatest export of India is not Brahmo missile or anything, or software. It's Ashoka's policy. Lowest investment, Buddhism around the world. Highest return for thousands of years. Abhi tak. All the Southeast Asian countries look at India as the land, holy land of Buddha. After 1,000 years, lowest investment, highest return. And this is from economically, also it's very beneficial. For example, there are 700 million Buddhists around the world, okay? If 1% comes to India every year, spend $1,000, that's $7 billion. If 0.1% comes to India, spend $1,000, easily, airfare is $1,000, okay? We're talking about $700 million in UP and Bihar. $700 million a year. Easy return. All you need to do is infrastructure, build infrastructure. But then people don't see it. There are a lot of developments in Gujarat and Maharashtra, which is good. Now we need to also invest in, Buddhist circuit of Bihar and UP.
Yes, please. Mic is not working. Yes, please, switch on it.
My question is to Professor Tulku Tenzin, who talked about the Dalai Lama, choosing the Dalai Lama. He talked about 14th Dalai Lama, how the indications came, and he showed a slide of a lake, and he told about a sound akama. So I just wanted to know where that sound came from. How? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Actually, maybe I mistakenly said sound. It was not sound, it was a vision, an image that was generated in the lake. So that's quite common. And so akama, these 3 syllables were generated in the lake, and the region at that time saw it by his own eyes. So it's not a sound, it's an image.
Good morning. Dr. Ashutosh Pathak, Member Executive Council, Ambedkar Open University. My question is with Lobsang Sangay. As you spoke and what I got from your lecture, that was Dharma ki Rajniti and Rajniti ka Dharma, right? Dharma and Adharma. So my question is, can't both these things be complementary to each other for the whole world?
Jarur, Dharmaraj, But I say this, constitutionally and institutionally, the religion and politics should be separated. However, in your individual space, you can practice. So if you're a politician, if you're influenced by your spirituality, you become a better leader. That is welcome. But in the name of religion, you just cannot get into politics. In the name of politics, you just simply directly get into religion. So then that interference will be problematic. So this institutional separation is very, very important. Otherwise, yes, His Holiness Dalai Lama has launched the C-learning course, social, emotional, ethical learning. It's being taught in 42 countries. 20 million students are studying this. And it's translated in 26 countries. What he's saying is that present problem with the education system is we all too focus on curriculum and career and success and ambition. He's saying, what about social responsibility? What about having students emotionally balanced? Why health? Mental health is the biggest problem in the world because students are never taught about emotional intelligence and ethically strong. His belief is that if once you go through this curriculum, you become more empathetic, you become more sympathetic. Then when you become a leader, you will not grab only for power, but for people. And if you're a businessman, you will not just go after greed and profit, but also for prosperity. And if you're a teacher, you will not just think of your career, but you will think of students. If you're a doctor, you will not think of license and insurance, but you will think of your patients. So this paradigm shift needs C-learning. Socially responsible, emotionally strong, emotionally balanced, and ethically strong leaders. So this is balancing spirituality into education also. This also can be brought into or introduced into politics also. So if you have a leader like that, then we will have better world.
My question... Combe Carpentier from India Foundation. My question is to Dr. Boutillette. You made a very strong case for the understanding of karma as something that has to be basically gotten rid of. And yet, as you know, in the Vedic tradition, in particular, you have the emphasis on the Grahastha stage. And Patrick Olivelle has made a very successful argument about the fact that the Grahastha is not just a householder, but just the householder who fulfills all the requirements of Dharma. And according to the Vedic tradition, that is the highest stage, not the stage of sannyas, because the Grahastha supports all of society, including sannyas. Therefore, how do you reconcile these two? Because clearly a renunciation or a rejection of karma leads to a society that probably becomes unviable if everybody renounces and is not participating in the action that builds and sustains society. Thank you.
thank you for the question. I think that's it's a complex question that would require something that I would like to actually be able to work on more extensively in future writing. And, there's a historical dimension to it. The Grihasta as the householder who actually accomplishes his karma, which has his 3 or 5 fires and produces the ritual daily and so forth. And we have to remember also that the Shramanas stood exactly against those people, right? That's they really somehow had an issue with that. That's historical. Now the negotiation between the two, I think, is over 2,500 years of history and different countries. So there is a somehow as the Shramanas become institutionalized, they become kind of grihasta. They sell rituals, right? They become priests. The monks bless your motorbike and your computer, and they give you services. That's to a certain extent the reality of Buddhism today. I think I was not necessarily, pointing at that. There's something where I think we have to think also of the logic of of just the renunciation itself as not being an as I think we had previous speaker who talked about the different stages in which people are, right? There are different folks, and just like this, I think we can see that multiple traditions have different, if you want, layered understanding of what renunciation is all about. Ultimately, ultimate renunciation is nirvana. That's what nirvana is. Nirvana is absolutely complete, total cessation, renunciation. That's what it is. There's nothing mystical about it. It's just that. Cessation is renunciation, point. The other extreme, complete extreme of non-renunciation is egoism, complete selfishness, right? And we have a balance between the two, maybe, that needs to be done. And at some point, I think if we remember that most of Dharma, at least from the Shramana movement, and that would exclude, actually, to a certain degree, but I think scholarship brings this back, that also even the Brahmanas, to a certain extent, had their own self-sacrificial understanding. That's something I argue quite a lot in my last book, actually. So a synonym for renunciation is self-sacrifice. Right? That's how I would put it. So sacrifice can be performed outwardly or inwardly, but we are all called to a certain degree to perform self-sacrifice whenever we can. To a certain extent, ultimately, nirvana, but here and there we train, and that's the Dharma in terms of practice, is to practice self-sacrifice, where it is our own yajna is offering ourselves, maybe in service, in different ways, right? But somehow reminding that, I think, would be perhaps more the focus of my talk, rather than always trying to fix things out there. I will conclude on that. Take, for example, a text that I really like from Shantideva, Bodhicharya Vatara. Says, instead of going about solving the world problem by covering the whole earth with leather because your feet hurt, well, just cover your own feet with leather, right? And that is, I think, a very good metaphor for renunciation in a very practical manner. But still, it could be a long conversation, and thank you for the question. Maybe.
Is there one question? Yes, please.
My name is Ghulam Rasul Dehlavi. I'm an author and writer on Sufism. My question is addressed to Mr. Lobsang. It's not a question, actually, it's an intervention on your philosophical exposition of the statement made yesterday that it is dharma. What lasts is the dharma. What doesn't last is adharma. And then you said, you commented on that when we look around the world, right from climate change to other devastations and disorders, it is all around, it is adharma, which is lasting. But when we think deeper, I think it is the principle and postulate of dharma which is lasting, because it is the dharma which teaches us karma, and it is the dharma which teaches us that whatever is going on is actually the result of the collective karma or vikarma, which has become the major part of this mankind. So I think whatever we see today is the result of adharma or vikarma, which is prevailing. As a result, that is all their disorder, devastation. So ultimately, it is the principle of dharma which is lasting, I think.
I'll agree with your conclusion, except yesterday our chief guest said, in the society, धर्म और अधर्म को छोड़ो, जो टिकेगा वो धर्म है, जो नहीं टिकेगा अधर्म है, right? That's the quote unquote. मेरा हिंदी उतना अच्छा नहीं है, मैंने याद किया है. तो अब क्या हो रहा है, जितने भी पाप कर रहा है अभी तक, हाँ, जितने भी धर्म करने को वो टिका नहीं है, जो अधर्म करने वो टिका. इसलिए क्लाइमेट चेंज है, डेमोक्रेसी in the last 30 years, more non-democratic, more dictators, more corrupt leaders are coming on a daily basis, more refugees are coming, more problems, haves and the have-nots, जहाँ भी देखो. So now you said it's collective karma, तो कितना साल तक जाना है? If this collective karma continues, तो हमें कर्मा के बारे में बोलने की जरूरत नहीं, जो होगा सो होगा. Karma, if it's predestined, then there's nothing you can do. Nahi, karma means action. You can change, you can, if not, you cannot change completely, you can modify it. So that's I'm talking about. So if Dharam is winning, then where is it winning? Now India says this is holy land. India wants to be number one in the world. यहाँ भगवान का कमी नहीं है, यहाँ वो sacred places का कमी नहीं है, सब कुछ है. आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. इसलिए, human action is needed, intervention is needed from our side.
Hello. Myself is Satyendra Pandey from Delhi University. My question is to Rinpoche. Venerable, while speaking about the incarnation of His Holiness, he talked about Trikaya. So this question I am asking just for enlightening myself, without differing the concept of Mahayana concept of Trikaya. My question is whether this aspect represents the three phases of Kumar Siddharth life or not. First, from birth to enlightenment as Rupkaya, from enlightenment to Mahaparinirvan as Sambhogkaya, and final after Mahaparinirvan as Dhammikaya. Because most of the principles or ideas has been borrowed from the early Buddhism. But in early Buddhism we have only two kaya, Rupkaya and Dhammikaya. Rupkaya later on divided into two, Nirmankaya and Sambhogkaya. So that's I want to know from you.
Thank you so much for the question. It's exactly true that earlier we have two kaya, the Rupakaya, and the Rupakaya further classify into two, Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya, which is true. So we also find this reference, the earliest the writing, especially in the commentary writing, we find around the 7th to 8th century, where the Maitreyanath composed a collective 5 texts on the Mahayana doctrine. So there, he was the first scholar to come up with this explanation. It is not something that was invented by him, but philosophically speaking, the Mahayana sutras that were not taught in public during the Lord Buddha's time, because Lord Buddha came as a common man like all of us, that went through the different phases of one's life and then become enlightened, as you say. That is one way of looking at the life story of Lord Buddha. But then there is another uncommon way of looking at the life story of Lord Buddha, which is that he was an enlightened being even before taking rebirth to this world, that he was enlightened many lifetimes before. And then he took the decision to come to this world, because in order to benefit the people in this earth, this human world, you have to evolve as the human evolves, going through the different phases of life. Otherwise, that person becomes something like a supernatural or something, and people will not have so much connection to whatever he teaches. So what I'm trying to say here is that this three notion of the kaya that I'm talking is actually coming from the later understanding of the Lord Buddha as being enlightened many lifetimes before coming to this world. So therefore he first, when he became enlightened, he became enlightened in the form of Sambhogakaya. And then the Rupakaya, or his omniscient mind, with that he take manifestation to come into the world, which is the Nirmanakaya. So I haven't found any indications in all the scriptures or the commentary as what I read with the three references that you gave, but I'm sure there could be many ways to look at it. Thank you.
If I may answer, I hope you got enlightened explaining reincarnation. The secular way of reincarnation is very simple. Is Dalai Lama, he wants to reincarnate, it's his personal choice. It's no one's business. It's not China's business. Of course, it's not America's business. It's not India's business, or even his family members' business. He's coming because Chelas are asking him to come. So that, for me, reincarnation is Guru-Chela relationship, you know. So I hope you all will, subscribe to that. And His Holiness Dalai Lama has clearly said he will be born outside of China, clearly declared in this book, Voice for the Voiceless. So he'll be born anywhere except in China. Not in. Now, whether he is likely to be born in India or not, likely, because he is a proud son of India. So let's all pray and, wish that he lives long, but reincarnation will come and continue his, great legacy.
Namaskaram, myself Ngangk, student of literature and philosophy. My question is to Sangay sir. If we act ethically because of the someone is watching us, or out of the fear of karma punishment, then what role does our own conscience play?
I have also been, politician in that sense. I always try to make a distinction between politician and a leader. Politician, जहाँ mass होता है, जहाँ vote होता है, वहाँ चले जाते हैं. If you're a leader, then you need conscience. You have to ask yourself first. That's I always advise people. Do you want to be leader? First, ask yourself why. If it's for personal glory, name, fame, power, no. If you're a politician, you will lose power at one time or the other. You will name fame also. In fact, they will defame you. So if you're working for yourself, then you will see so many challenges, it becomes overwhelming. But if you are working because of your conscience, you want to serve people, you want to serve community, you want to protect environment, then your strength comes from that community. So compassion-based courage is much more resilient than simply courage. And compassion has to come from dharma, because you have to work for someone else. So the conscience comes, because you're not working for good karma. You want to work for a cause. So as I said, I gave 13 lectures in 11 days. What keeps me going, even though I don't look that sleepy today, right? Because I just feel I'm working for my cause, my people, in the service of His Holiness Dalai Lama. That's where my courage and the strength and the resilience come. If I'm just working for myself, after 6 lectures, I will say, itna road bura hai, traffic jam utna hai, flight cancel itna hota hai, chhod do. I don't do it. Because then, that's why I said, if you're a leader, you have to ask yourself why you want to serve. If you have a wrong answer, you'll be a wrong leader. If you have right answer, you will lead for a long time.
The last question.
Thank you so much for this session. My question is for Mr. Lobsang. Sir, first of all, thank you so much for highlighting the bitter truths of India. Sir, according to you, what are the factors that are hampering the revival of Buddhism in India? And the second thing, the Avatara philosophy. Everyone must be knowing, because we are all from philosophical background, that Buddha is, according to Shaivism, Buddha is considered as one of the avatar. Still in iconography, it has been taught in the same way, because it has been there. So do you think that this aspect is somewhere hampering and somewhere creating confusion? According to you, just want some clarity. Thank you so much, sir.
I don't want to get into philosophical aspect of it. I'm not an expert. But politically,
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
no, Buddhists in India, I think in 1900, when British were here, Buddhists were only, I think, 0.1% or 1% of the population. Now, in the last 20 years, there's a realization Buddhist ka vote bank hai. Then, certain, the privileges or, the funding were granted. And Buddhists have also started asserting their identity, their role. Now it has increased to 7 or 8% of India's population. Some say, unofficially even it's 13%. And if you go by correct measurement, if you give all the privileges and recognize them rightly, some say it can go up to 23% of the India's population. Now politicians' vote bank is very important. So we have to do both. Philosophically, be proud of being a Buddhist and assert yourself. And politically, you have to assert your Torah, flex your muscle as well. Combine the two, then it will happen. So I'm very glad we have Ambedkar Open University here in Gujarat. And I hope, I've been to others as well. More will come, more will get educated. And especially the Buddhist people in India needs to educate themselves, get skills, get talents, and then rise up the ladder, Then only you can make these changes. And India, they just realize it's too late. It's a natural asset. Buddhism has been the biggest export of India with minimum negligible investment, the highest return. Abhi bhi aate rehte hai, sab aate rehta. 1,000 years later. Now, so that's why our leaders in India also, here whatever religion they have, outside they all say Buddha, Buddha. They quote Buddha. They know for export, Buddhism is the greatest asset India has. And it's a fact.
I have one question to Lobsang Sangay regarding his observation that we should separate religion from politics. I totally agree with you. Religion must be separated from politics, but this is not the same case with separation of dharma from the politics, because dharma civilization is different from religion. The association of religion with politics have done lot of harm to the world. But what we learn, our civilization is dharma-centric. Dhariyate iti dharma. And this dharma is universal moral order. It cannot be associated from daily life, politics, personal life. So you have to keep very finer distinction between religion and dharma.
Actually, religion is also good. All religion emphasizes love, compassion, kindness, brotherhood, harmony. When it becomes religiosity, when you take religion to the society, then it becomes I am this, you are this. Societal interpretation of religion makes you and me. But when religion becomes religionism, ideology ho jata hai, to kehta hai, my religion is better than yours. Your religion is worse than mine. Then the problem starts. Religion in itself is spirituality, is good. But when it becomes religiosity, it's more complex, but you can manage. When it becomes religionism, when it becomes ideology, to kehta hai, my religion is better than yours. In fact, your religion is worse than mine. Then the problem starts. But dharma I accept. Dharma, basic principle, has to be universal. Dharma should influence everybody, but constitutionally and institutionally it should be separate. That's all I'm trying to say. Otherwise you can say, I have dharma ka degree, I should become a leader. Ye nahi. You practice dharma. You don't show certificates. Dharma is inside you, not the degrees or the diploma you have. So that's the distinction I'm trying to make. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for all the wonderful speakers. Thank you very much on behalf of all the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you.
With this, we have now come towards the end of the plenary session. Once again, thanks a lot to our chair and the esteemed panelists for this enlightening session. I now request Professor Ami Upadhyay to kindly felicitate Ms. Veena Upadhyay. Can we have a big round of applause? I request ma'am to felicitate Mr. Tulku Rinpoche. Okay, Reverend Rinpoche. Mr. Carl Stephen. And Mr. Lobsang Sangay. Can we have a group picture of all the panelists? Before we break for lunch, a few announcements. So the paper presentations for group 1 will be in this same hall. And for others, I request all of you to assemble in the main hall downstairs, I mean the ground floor, and our volunteers will guide you. So try to assemble by 2:15 so that we all start our paper presentations on time. And the lunch will be at the guest house lawn where the dinner was there yesterday. So with this, I thank again our panelists, and we break for lunch now. With all the delegates? Okay.
Session of the day. May I please request Ms. Sunaina Singh to come on the stage? She's the chair for this session. May I please request Swami Mitrananda to come on to the dais? May I please request Mr. Supachai Veerapachong to come on to the dais? So you can come on to the dais. Yeah. Yes. May I please request Mr. Maris Sangya Pongsa to come on to the dais? May I please request Mr. Il Su Moon to come on to the dais, please? Sunaina ma'am, please take over the session. Thank you.
Good morning and namaskar to everyone, and welcome back to the first plenary session this morning. I have the distinct honor of chairing the distinguished panelists out here. But before I begin, let me say a few things that will